26 shots in terms of from Brentford. Shows how dangerous they were in the transition, how aggressive they were, even with the high number of fouls. And again, another showcase that you do not need possession in order to showcase success in this league. All right, look, there was a lot to discuss in terms of with Spurs, the transition, the transfers, and most importantly, of course, now their permanent head coach in Roberto de Zerbi, and he gave us some quotes after the game.
For many reasons, I think we are not team yet. For a lot of reasons. Yesterday in press conference, when you asked me what is the target, the target we can fix the target when you become team. Before then become team, we can't say what we can do. For sure, we are not in the right point in physical condition for a lot of reasons. For the players, they came late after World Cup because in Australia we couldn't work in the right way for the trip, to don't take risk for the a lot of things, but are not excuse, are the normal situation when you are building a new project, a new process. I don't want time, but we have to pass through these problems.
I never thought I'd ever quote my nan on this show, but what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? And I feel like we've seen this Roberto de Zerbi beforehand. Catastrophic disaster. That is the only way to describe Spurs beginning to this season. But just give me your initial takeaways from his quotes in particular.
Yes, not good enough. Very interesting quotes. Obviously, you can make excuses that the World Cup was there and obviously players coming back, trying to get ready in pre-season. You can't build chemistry when you've added 2 or 3 or 4, or in this case, 7 new pieces to your team. He's trying to say to everyone to be patient. I think that's the ballpark of it all. But at the same time, you have to also have an excuse for what actually we just witnessed in that performance against Brentford. Because you've got fans who turned up to watch a team who's just added so many top talented new players to your roster, and you put out a performance like that. In the first half, it was an absolute disaster. Made far too many mistakes. I thought Bergvall was terrible in midfield alongside Tonali. He was awful, nowhere near good enough. I thought Mikey Moore was pretty poor. Actually, the right-hand side with Archie Gray, who was captain, the 20-year-old on that right-hand side. I mean, they made so many different mistakes. It wasn't just necessarily the goalkeeper Kinski that you can blame here. I think defensively and in midfield, and then, of course, even Richarlison up top there, who took no shots in this game. It just went from bad to worse. And I think when you look at the big picture of this performance, yes, OK, it's going to take a bit of time. But time you do not have. The season just started, and you got your ass walloped by a very, very talented Brentford side who look like they are on point.
The only way to describe Roberto de Zerbi, and this is me just being completely unbiased, is provocative. He's a provocative character. There's no two ways about it. But what you want to see now is an element of coolness, calmness. He steadied the ship last year. There should be building blocks. Clearly, there was transfer funds that have been handed to you. So where are Spurs' building blocks? Where do they go from here? Where's the progression? Because I'm hearing a lot of excuses without a lot of accountability.
Yeah, listen, if you look at the starting 11, first and foremost, there was a couple of youngsters in there. Archie Gray, obviously, I mentioned already, one of the youngest captains of the team at 20 years old, and right fullback position right in front of him. You had, obviously, the youngster who played at Rangers, Mikey Moore. He's only 19 years old. And then you need the experience to step up, right? Robertson comes in that left fullback position. Tonali comes in that midfield, and Van Ecke in the centre of the field. You would think, OK, Senesi's a good addition. It's a good squad. They've added a lot of nice pieces. Jaydee, it doesn't just work overnight, right? It does take time to be able to gel this together, but on paper it's a talented group. On the bench, the weapons they've got is ridiculous. There's a lot of money sitting on the bench who've still got to get in. Then you think of the players who are still out there. I mean, obviously they've got some big names who still have to come back from injury. But the transfers are no joke. I mean, looking how much money they've spent in the transfer window automatically brings pressure to you. And I think De Zerbi has to recognise that. This is Tottenham Hotspur, after all. They finished 17th and 17th, right? I mean, what are we talking about here? It's another 17th expectation for your supporters. You've got to give your supporters some sort of joy. You've got to give them confidence and belief so that they keep coming back, so that they recognise why they spend $250 on a new jersey. You've got to give them a reason. We didn't get that against Brentford. It wasn't good enough.
I want to smile. I want to be optimistic about the teams out in North London. And I really want to say this with a lot of love. There's a lot of spicy adjustments that's got to occur in terms of within that Spurs changing room. You want to give them time, the new players to settle in. And people sometimes don't recognise some of the work that has to happen behind the scenes. You know, finding a new home, settling your friends and your family, all of those types of adjustments. But Ian, the headlines will always be, there are a lot of big names that have come in here with some big transfer fees. So what's your excuse? What's your development? And most importantly, what's Spurs' expectation going into this year?
Where did you have them in the table in your prediction?
I had them fifth. I had them fifth. I thought with the De Zerbi, I thought with the Uni, and I love some of these signings. I mean, Tonali is an incredible midfielder. There's no two ways about it. If you can get the right Sandro Tonali in there, you're going to get someone who's industrial, he's going to be a leader, he's going to be tenacious at some moments, he's going to be everything you want. Mateus Fernandes, no question marks about his ability. Consistency is another aspect. You had the Madisons who's returning this year, Kulusevski's returning.
Yes.
We're waiting to see all of this gel together with the quality that's on a piece of paper. But I remind everybody, even though I said it's a spicy adjustment, it's still only on a piece of paper. Yeah. So they need a head coach, who they have in De Zerbi, who can gel it all together.
Yes.
Why isn't it working?
It happens overnight.
OK, you tell me.
It doesn't happen overnight. I think the fans need to expect, obviously, results at some point, but it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in the first game. I still think that Tottenham end up in a Champions League spot. I really do. I didn't see enough in this performance to give me hope, and certainly many Tottenham fans out there will be looking at it and thinking, that man is a little bit crazy. Understandably so. It was a poor performance. You didn't see enough of quality. And Brentford were by far the better team. They're probably the team we should be talking about more than Spurs. But because they've spent so much money, we have to talk about Spurs and what went wrong for them. It will come right. De Zerbi and the supporters have to be patient. They have to work hard to get it right. Can we just talk about the Bees for a minute?
Yep.
What a performance, Jaydee.
I give you 15 seconds on them. Give me your best Bees thing. Go on.
What a performance, man. Sangare coming in through the door. Why did other teams not try to sign him? How did Brentford manage to convince him to go there? Because he is the perfect piece of the puzzle to consistently bring the chemistry. What Spurs are looking for, Brentford just showed. Chemistry, united, tactical approach, every player did their job. Brentford were absolutely brilliant on the day. Tottenham the opposite. Not many players did their job on the day. Not many players stepped up and actually performed well, or can actually go back, look in the mirror and say, yeah, I did okay, I earned my paycheck this time around. Every single Brentford player was brilliant. In fact, I think Brentford might have just changed my mind, because I had them finishing in the bottom half of the table. Watching one performance and how united that group was tells me that Keith Andrews is onto something pretty special. And you throw a Sangare in there? Yes, please.